Hey everyone, it's Mike with It's Pittsfield Tonight. I'm going to jump right into it. I am here with Karen Kalinowsky. For those of you that do not know Karen, Karen is running this year for Pittsfield City Council At-Large. But Karen, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, I'm Karen Kalinowsky. I've lived here in Pittsfield all my life. Went to the schools here. Back in '86, I got hired by the Pittsfield Police Department. So I was a police officer for about 32 years. I just retired not quite 3 years ago. And I decided, I guess I wasn't satisfied yet with helping out the city and decided to run for City Council at Large.
Okay. And you said you were a lifelong resident of Pittsfield?
Yes.
And so I'm assuming you're a graduate of Pittsfield Public Schools?
Conic High School.
Oh, okay.
Was my high school. Crosby was my junior high school. Redfield.
After high school, did you go to college?
Just for 2 years. I went to Becker Junior College.
Okay. And then after that, right into the police department?
After a few jobs, it was a few years. I got out of college after 2 years, so I was only 20. I came on the force when I was 24.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's pretty much right out of. So, and then you said what, 32 years with the department?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know from talking to you, we did some interviews last year, or I can't remember if it was prior to the pandemic. I believe it was. I have no concept of time anymore, but we did some interviews when the issue with resource officers was back in the forefront. And I know you had said you were a resource officer at Reed Middle School for 13 years. Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel that gave you some insight into some of the ongoings in the city and in the schools with our youth?
It definitely did, Mike. For both with how I see things running in the school and also what we need to help kids within the city, because, there was times that kids came to me that, I didn't know where to turn to help them with what they wanted. Some were easy. Kid wanted to play football. I got him in touch with the coach. Coach got him in. They didn't have money. Small things I could do, but sometimes I didn't know where to turn in the city to help some of these kids.
Now I'm going to throw this out there because I have a little bit of a soft spot for Karen, because Karen is a foster mom, and that's something I'm very passionate about, because I was one of those kids who got put through the system. So I know how, to me, people like you, Karen, are very special, that are willing to bring kids in to your home and make them family and help them. And so do you feel that, and I'm sure it has, but do you feel that also has given you a different perspective that you could bring to the council if elected?
Being a foster parent, yes. Some of the issues I think I also got when I was a resource officer of what kids are going through, because we did consider being foster parents when I was a resource officer, because of some of the kids that were there at the school. It's just that it was a family meeting on that, and we got turned down by our children that were still in school. So
now, I ask this to everyone, and I ask about different issues and things that have motivated you to run for council. Is there any issue or particular issues that made you say, we're coming into an election year and I feel strongly about this or that, and I'm going to go ahead and run for council?
There's actually a lot. The schools are one. Our city streets are another. Fixing the city's infrastructure. Because if we want to move the city forward and get people to come back, businesses to come into Pittsfield, we have to look the part. People want to look invited. A lot of stuff is just run down. The streets are in horrible, a lot of streets are in horrible condition, not all of them, but a lot of them. We need to do more without raising the taxes for the people of Pittsfield.
Okay. Now, those are going to be some some big issues. And I think with the schools, I don't know, do we have any counselors that have children in the public schools or in that are school age?
I'm not sure.
That's,
I don't think.
that's I don't know why that just hit me. That's an interesting perspective, because not that, we know that the school committee, which is something going on tonight, actually, a big thing there, the school committee kind of oversees the school, and the council is very limited. As a counselor, you're kind of more, when the budget comes to you, are you going to approve it or not? As far as saying how that budget is created, there's not a lot of a counselor is going to do. I guess in a simple, straightforward, direct question, what would you say the role, if you were elected to the city council, what would you say is the primary role of a Pittsfield city councilor?
I think we are supposed to look at the citizens, what the citizens want of Pittsfield, what the majority are looking for when things are coming up to be voted on or discussed. We represent the public.
And what is some of the feedback you're getting from people in the community you're talking to?
Well, the schools was one of them, because I had some young mothers whose children are in elementary school, and they're asking me, all my friends are going to send their kids to Lenox when they hit middle school. Why can't Pittsfield do something about their schools? I don't want to send my kids to Lenox. I rather, they stay here in Pittsfield. And and she asked me, same as what you just said, where am I limited? I mean, I believe, yes, I'm limited, and I did explain that to her, but I also think when we see the budget, if we don't see a money allotted to the level of, helping kids, I would hope that I'd be able to talk to the other counselors and the mayor and be able to say, look, we should send that back and have them put more money toward, what is actually going to help the kids, not, upping people and more people up in the administrative department.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of, and just, and I'm not going to drag you into this conversation, but there is a lot of controversy with the appointment of Joe Curtis as the permanent superintendent and the way that whole search went. And so the school has talked about a lot. And as we're speaking right now, in a couple more hours, there's a meeting to fill Dennis Powell's spot on the school committee, who Dennis quit over what happened with the selection of the superintendent. And I support him on that. Again, I don't want to drag you into any of this, because I know that's a touchy subject, but if you wanted to, is there something do you have a point of view on that, or something you'd like to say about that?
I mean, I agree with him. I have nothing against Mr. Curtis. I unfortunately, as before I left the schools, right before I retired, I saw the downslide happening. I tried to say things to the administrator in our building, what I was seeing and, what I felt should be done to stop it. And it's worse. I mean, at one point, Reed was a high performing school. We were getting people from schools outside the city coming to look at this model school. And before I left, I was watching it drop down. And from what I know, it's now an underperforming school. It shouldn't have happened. It's just sad. It's sad for the kids of Pittsfield. We need to be able to educate them without them going into other towns.
Do you feel at times there's too much politics in the departments?
Definitely on some, but also I just don't. We need a fresh idea coming into Pittsfield. I mean, I was at Reed when they brought in a new principal. I started at Reed under one principal, and the school was out of control. It was awful. Mike, I wasn't even willing to stay there. I couldn't believe the teachers were teaching under these conditions. And they brought a principal in from Springfield with a whole new perspective, changed things in the school of how things were set up. And then she had expectations for not only her dean of students and vice principal, but for the teachers and for the students. And it was she didn't stay the whole year. but the things she implemented in the school did stay. And within 3-4 years is when they started becoming a higher performing school. My two youngest were actually starting school at that time, and they had to add more honors classes to 7th and 8th grade because they had more kids in the honors classes than in previous years. You know, so the school is,
if elected to the council, because I know, talking to you personally, you really did at one point weigh, do I want to run for school committee, or do I want to run for city council, and where do I think I can be, more effective? And you put a lot of thought into it. We talked about this, and you thought, there's just too many bigger issues. And I think, a lot of the appeal you have with your supporters is that you're saying, this ain't about me. It's whatever you guys want. I'm here to bring the voice of my constituents to the council. And that's really, I think, on that, what people want to hear. But was it a tough decision for you to, because you're so passionate, obviously, about our kids in the schools? Was it a tough decision to decide which way to go on that?
it was, and that's why I understood where Mr. Powell came from when he quit. You're up against the wall. You know what's right and what the city needs, and you're getting resistance, which I expect to see that on the council too. Hopefully not too bad, but I expect to see some of that there too. But people have to work together. They have to, I don't know when the last time all these people from the school committee walked into a school. I know one used to come into read a lot, one. But they need to go and see what's going on in our schools. They need to talk to the teachers about what's going on in our schools. And then you'll know why parents are sending the kids to other schools. Because from what I saw, things are out of control.
Well, the choice out rate is scary. And, I remember doing a piece where I was talking about Jake McCandless had mentioned that we expected to lose at that time, and it's pre-pandemic, between 1,000 and 1,500 students in 10 years, which would have put us down to, we're at ridiculously low numbers now. But now, because of the pandemic, I wonder how much that has affected it with the homeschooling, and, because like I said, the choice out rate was already at ridiculous numbers, where other communities around us were saying, we're filling up over here. It was parents were looking for places to get kids in. I don't know. What do you do you feel that you will have a voice somewhat towards that issue as a city councilor?
I think I can. I think I can look at what they're budgeting, what they're looking for money for, and, be able to see it and see what they're actually doing with the money, and have no problem questioning it. And then, if what I see is, other city councilors see it too, we might be able to send that budget back to the school committee to relook at it and where they're allotting the funds.
Okay. Well, Karen, I greatly appreciate you doing this. And before we wrap it up, if you could just, if there's anything you want to say to the audience, and definitely throw out there how they can get in touch with you and how they can reach you if they want to ask you any questions or anything like that.
Okay, I have a political website along with my own personal. Karen Kalinowsky, for City Council at Large is my political. My cell phone number, my email address is on all them. You can instant message me, any questions, you want to talk about anything. I'm there for it, and I'm there for you. I'm there for the public.
Okay. Well, I greatly appreciate. Oh, and one very last question. I plan on putting some debates together. I've already asked quite a few of the candidates I've talked to. Is that something that you would be interested in participating in?
Yes, I would, Mike.
Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Thank you very much for that. That's exciting for me because I've got 5 of you so far. So I think we can put some really good, healthy debates together. And I plan on getting a lot of questions from the audience ahead of time and doing it a way that a lot of people had hoped to see. So I am excited about that. So that's it for now. Thank you again, Karen. I will be in touch to continue as we go on to do some more videos, and that's it. So I thank you again, and I will be in touch very, very soon.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
All right. Have a good night, Karen.
You too. Bye, Mike.
Bye-bye.